Hey guys, it's Blake. It's good to see you guys again. I just want to speak for a minute or two on the topic of naming. You know, Danielle and I are, well, not me, but Danielle is pregnant and my wife, and we are going to, Lord willing, have a baby in a few months. And so we've been thinking a lot about naming. And, you know, we thought, wow, we're going to give this child a name that they're going to have the rest of their life. And that's a big thing. And so we want to really think about this and pray about it some. So, you know, I was actually named after a dog, believe it or not. My aunt and uncle had a golden retriever named Blake, and he was really sweet and really kind, and so they named me after that dog. So, you know, oftentimes if you ask somebody, what's the story behind your name, you find a crazy story, you know, something that happened in their great-great-grandmother's family or something, you know, family names or some names are very odd and they have an interesting story, or some names are just, hey, I liked it sounded cool. Well, in the Bible, names are often, they often have meaning. They more often than not have a meaning. And it's something that oftentimes the parents would give a name to their child based on hopes that they had for that child or prayers. And then we see also in the Bible renaming, you know, somebody's name is this, and then God says, no, your name is now going to be this. And so what in the world is going on here? There's a lot to learn about names in the Bible. You know, in Genesis 3, Adam calls his wife, he said he called the woman Eve. Eve, you know, resembles the Hebrew for life giver. And so obviously we know from Eve comes, you know, her offspring, it fills the earth, just like God said, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. So she is indeed a life giver in that way. And, you know, thinking about names in the Bible, there's a lot of examples that we could look at, you know, that show something about the person's character and their name or what they would do. You know, Abram, that name meant exalted father. And who knows what Abram's father, Nahor, you know, had in mind for him when he named him that. But little did he know that God was actually going to change his name from exalted father to Abraham, which means father of a multitude. And so, you know, God was actually going to make from Abraham a nation, his people, Israel, and eventually his church, his beloved bride. And so, you know, we see it again and again. Jacob, his name changed to Israel from something that happened in his life. He wrestled with God and it became Israel. And we see it in the New Testament where Simon's name was changed to Peter, Simon Peter, and you know, Peter being a rock of the church. And you know, Barnabas, his name, that name Barnabas means son of encouragement. And as we see Barnabas's character throughout Acts, is he's an encourager. He's one who builds up the church. He builds up and supports Paul and others in their ministry. So there's actually an interesting scene in the book of Joshua where you know, the spies are sent into the promised land, and they're all named out and they're listed out. And then at the end of the list, here's what it says. These were the names of the men whom Moses sent to spy out the land. And Moses called Hoshea, the son of Nun, Joshua. Now before this, Joshua's called Hoshea, and Hoshea means he saves. But what we found out is that Moses calls him Joshua. What does Joshua mean? It means Yahweh saves. And so even before Joshua leads Israel into the promised land in the book of Joshua, his name is changed from he saves. It's not anything that I do as Joshua or Hoshea. It's Yahweh. Yahweh is the one who's going to save us. He's going to fight for us. He's going to give us this land, this inheritance. And, you know, I was thinking about sharing with you all the name of our son at the end of this devotional, but then I thought, well, that wouldn't go well with Danielle because we have not even told our families. We're not telling anybody. So I'm sorry I can't share that with you. But I can share the name of another son. And actually, you know, around this time of year, we celebrate actually his birth and his incarnation. And that son I'm going to read about, and then we'll be done. But as Joseph considered these things, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not fear to take Mary as your wife, for that which is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus. for he will save his people from their sins. That name Jesus was given to sons who their parents were longing for this Messiah to come, this Messiah that was prophesied about in the Old Testament. And Jesus was, a kind of the same name, Joshua, Jeshua, Jesus, it was, Yahweh saves. And so he will save his people from their sins. And so, as we think about naming, a lot goes with a name. And the same is true for Jesus. It told a lot about him, what he would do, who he was, what his character was like. He didn't come to be served, but to serve, to save his people from their sins. So let's linger there. Let's adore him this Christmas. Love y'all. Thanks.